Hey, aloha folks, and welcome to the Klipper Golf Course. Today, we're going to talk about what you need to know when selecting a driver. And once again, we're working with the Ping Golf Company today, okay? And their flagship golf club right now is a G440. Now, there's a whole bunch of different drivers that you have to choose from. Whether you be a senior, a young person, a male, a female, all of that comes into consideration, but performance is probably the most important factor, and it's specific performance to yourself, not just how far you hit it or how fast you swing the golf club, but it's your launch angles, it's your spin rates, things of this nature. The best thing you can do when looking for a golf club, or when you're in the market to purchase a golf club, or when selecting a golf club, you probably want to get on a launch monitor. And a lot of the major retail outlets now, and there are even some green grass accounts that will do this for you, or you could possibly pay for a lesson with a teaching professional who utilizes a launch monitor. But there are many different ways. I would think like you could go to, oh gosh, name is slipping my mind, but I'm pretty sure Roger Dunn will probably have a launch monitor there. And then, oh goodness gracious, yeah, a lot of the indoor facilities will have a launch monitor there in lieu of the big driving range. Launch monitor will give you all the data you need for selecting a driver. It's going to measure your club head speed. It's going to measure your launch angle. It's going to measure your spin rate, spin to the right, spin to the left, ball speed. A lot of these things that factor into selecting or the optimum performance of the golf club that you're selecting. So with that data, you'll be able to choose the appropriate club head or type of driver, whether it's a standard offering, high MOI, low spin technology, straight flight technology, lightweight, which Ping calls the high launch, or even the ladies version of it, which is currently GLE3. But you know, all the data that you get off the launch monitor will tell you, okay, what head do you need? What loft should you select? What shaft? What flex? What weight? Which grip? Everything. All of these things will go into the custom specs for your driver. And you will get this from the data that you get out of the launch monitor. Now, okay, what if you don't have the ability, or you just don't have the time, or you just don't want to bother with getting on a launch monitor? And while we're on the launch monitor subject, you know, it's almost like I'm trying to feed business to our competitors, which I don't really consider them our competitors. I just look at them as fellow retailers. But if you want to be our customer and purchase a golf club from us, I don't want to steal business from any of my fellow retailers. However, I do know that some of these businesses or individuals can provide you with a launch monitor fitting for a price, so you can pay for that service. And then if you want to be our customer, you can bring your business here and take advantage if we have a special running or something like that. But I'm not encouraging you to do one or the other. This is just an informative video, hopefully. But anyway, so if you don't have the time, if you don't have the care, if you don't have the ability to get to a launch monitor, then you can simply ask for demos. You know, one way is to attend a demo day. You know, we have multi-vendor demo days 3 times a year. We have a multitude of demo days, or many demo days scheduled throughout the year, you can call the shop 808-254-2107 or 808-254-1745, and we can tell you when our next demo day is. You can dial it into your vendor, the brand you like, and come out and try it on the driving range. And a lot of times the reps have launch monitors, so that'll kind of kill two birds with one stone. You can get your data from the launch monitor, and you can try it out real life and see the launch conditions and how the club performs. I suggest that when you do this, you bring your current driver with you so you can try them side by side, because why would you want to upgrade if you're really not upgrading? Anyway, that's one option. Another option is to ask for demo clubs. Your local retailer or your local green grass account, which is basically a golf course or driving range, they may have demos that you can try. You know, we have some here as well. And if we don't have them, a lot of times we can try to get them for you. And yeah, and wherever you do demo the clubs, you know, I encourage you to give that business, you know, your business, because it's only fair. But yeah, because a lot of times, you know, as a retailer, we know that we have to purchase our demos. They aren't free, and all of our fellow retailers will have to do the same thing. So I would like for you to give them your business if you demo there. But again, if you're our customer, please ask. If we don't have the demo available, I will try to steer you into a demo day, or I will try to get that demo for you to try. But you go ahead, you take the demo out on the golf course. That's the best way to do it. You know, you can't get a launch monitor, get a demo in your hand, take it out on the golf course and try it in real life playing situations with the golf ball that you play with and in playing conditions. You know, my good friend and mentor Brandon Kopp always says that, you know, when you get fitted, it's sometimes it's not accurate, because when you play in a tournament and there's adrenaline and you're in competition, you swing the club harder and faster. Well, not all of us are competitive golfers, but if you take it down a notch, that would say that maybe when you're getting fitted indoors with the launch monitor, you're not outdoors playing under normal conditions where you might swing a little faster or harder. So it is never a bad idea to take a demo out on the golf course, or at least try it on the driving range. I do encourage that. But when you take a demo out, what's nice is you can try it side by side with your club. And usually, like I've mentioned in previous videos, if you've seen them, your golf game will always tell you what you need. I mean, there is no greater feedback than your performance. Of course, with high technology, the launch monitor can tell you specifically what's happening, but proof is in the pudding. When you go out and play, you can kind of tell, I'm not quite hitting it high enough. I am spinning too much. You know, the ball's spinning out, going up, you know, into the wind. It's not performing, it's not penetrating the wind, that sort of thing. Or I'm hitting it too low. You know, the ball is not carrying, it's hitting the ground, and it's you know, it's getting a little more run, but I think if I could fly it further and then get some rollout, I get more distance, so on and so forth. Or the club feels heavy, the club feels too stiff. It's nothing like trying it out live. And by trying it out live, you'll be able to dial it in. You'll be able to figure out pretty quick if that club is performing for you. So I think that's another good way to go about this. Now you've gone on the launch monitor, now you've tried out the golf club, now it's time to select a club head. Well, you know, whoever's helping you with the launch monitor can probably tell you specifically which club head you should have. But just for, you know, information, we have, you know, like I said, like for example, in the Ping Golf Company, they have the G440 Max. Okay, that's the standard offering. That's a flagship club. And I believe they have a 9 degree, a 10.5 degree, and possibly a 12 degree driver. And the driver can be adjusted 1.5 degrees up or down. And I do believe now, I don't know if it's on a limited basis, but they do have a 7.5 degree driver as well. Thank you, Bubba Watson, I'm sure. But anyway, you know, interesting note is you have that one flagship driver, but you have it available in all of these lofts. And also on the back of the driver, there's an adjustable weight that you can either move towards the heel for a draw bias or towards the toe for a fade bias. And when you adjust the driver up, I know this to be true for, I think it's Ping and TaylorMade for sure. I'm not sure about Cobra. I think Cobra is a lot more adjustable though. And then you have Callaway and Titleist that have the cogs on their driver. And anyway, but I do know with Ping, when you adjust the club up, you are actually also closing the club face. So if you have a 9 degree and you move it up to a 10.5 degree, you also make it a hook face. This is good information. And also if you lower the loft from a 10.5 degree down to a 9 degree, it opens the club face. Why is that important? Well, what if you're a hooker or a slicer? If you're a hooker and you want to see less hook, well, you're gonna, and say you need a 10.5 degree driver, you are probably gonna want to get a 12 degree driver, loft it down so it opens the club face, and that'll compensate for that, take some of that hook spin off. Also, if you're a slicer of the ball and you hit the ball really low slice, not common, but if you're a low slicer of the ball and you want to take that 9 degree and loft it up to a 10.5, it'll also close the face a little and take some of that fade off, some of that cut spin off. So these are little things that not always common knowledge that will help when selecting a club head. Okay, so you've got the G440 Max as a flagship, and every company has their standard driver. Then usually there's a high MOI driver in the Ping Golf Company. The current product is a G430 10K, and that's the highest MOI. This is the most forgiving golf club out there. So if you're a person that, hey, I hit the ball, I miss it all over the club face, you know, I don't really have a consistent pattern to where I'm impacting the club face, that 10K driver might be helpful. Or if you just notice that I lose a lot of distance when I don't hit it solid, you know, my current club is not forgiving enough, not giving me enough forgiveness, moving into a 10K type of driver might be very helpful, you know. Or you could just be a great driver of the ball and you hit it solid almost all the time, and you want to make sure that when you do miss it a little bit, that it performs almost as well. Hey, 10K driver for you too. So there's a lot of different reasons. But so you got the standard offering, you got the 10K for the high MOI or more forgiving. Then usually there's a low spin driver in the Ping Golf Company. It's the LST. And that is for the golfer who spins the ball too much. Problem with spinning the ball too much is usually, you know, the ball will not roll out, or the ball will not penetrate the wind, or it curves too much. You want to take some of that spin out, you go with the lower spin technology club, and it'll help you to do that. It'll help the ball penetrate through the wind better. It'll help the ball carry and then roll out when it lands. It'll take some of that cut spin and that hook spin off. What can you do if you're like a big time hooker? Well, you could get a LST driver. You could take the weight on the back of the driver, move it into the fade bias position. You could take the loft and loft down, take a loft, higher lofted club and loft down to open the club face. Now you have almost 3 ways, I think it was 3 ways, to take off the hook spin, to combat the hook spin. So there's a lot of things you can do by selecting the right driver head. Okay, so that's low spin technology. You also have straight flight technology. Most golfers, this is nothing to be ashamed of, because I've known some incredible golfers that slice the ball. But most golfers slice or fade the ball. It's just the way it is. And so Ping has made a club, and most major manufacturers will make a club that is draw bias. They'll call it something. Most people will stay away from that word draw bias because it has like a negative connotation at this point. Because I'm not a slicer, I don't have a problem with that. So they call it other things. But anyways, Ping calls it straight flight technology. And that is a draw bias club. So if you have a problem with fading or slicing the golf ball and you want to reduce that, you get the straight flight technology. Also, if you are a person who plays a slight draw And when you miss it, you block it, or you hit it straight and you want to make sure that that ball is going one way all the time. Another reason to get straight flight technology. I've got a friend who does that and does it well. And he's a PGA professional, so he's a good player, and he still does that. So it's not a negative thing to get a straight flight technology club. Now, here's another example. It's the opposite of what we just said, but you're a slicer. You're a terrible slicer, and you are going to get a club that has straight flight technology. Well, guess what? You can move the weight. I'm not sure if it has a adjustable back weight, but if it does, you could move it into the draw bias position. You could also loft up and close the club face. And this is working against the cut. So there's a lot of things you can do to get to adjust the club, or select the right club and then adjust it appropriately to help you straighten out your ball flight. So there's a lot of things we can do with that. And I don't know if I might have just said the opposite there. But anyway, I think you get the picture. Instead of cutting now and redoing this video, I'm going to continue on. So if I said the opposite, reverse that. We also have, within ping, we have this thing called high launch. And basically high launch is designed for slower swing speeds. Now that might be your senior golfer. That might be a petite female golfer, but I've seen some petite female golfers out there. They're usually juniors or collegiate players, or even young professionals. But young women that are petite, 5 foot tall, hit the ball way farther than me. So it's not just petite women, but typically a petite woman who's a average golfer, novice to the game, might benefit from high launch. And so for people who have lower swing speeds, hey, got the high launch, they take the exact same club head and they reduce the weight. Then they'll pair that with a ultra lightweight shaft and an ultra lightweight grip, thus keeping the proportion the same. The balance of the club will remain the same, and it'll perform better, because there's nothing worse. Well, I shouldn't say nothing worse, but it's not good to just go. A lot of people think just go to ultralight shaft. But if you got a heavy grip on the one end and a heavy head on the other end, you're just going to have a heavy club that flexes way too much, or a club that's still too heavy that flexes way too much. So yeah, that's another thing. And then we have the ladies club. And again, just what I just said, there are ladies out there. Just because you're a lady golfer doesn't mean you need a ladies club. There are some ladies out there that really move the club head, really generate a lot of speed and power. And they're not going to hit the ladies club. That's just not the appropriate club for them. So they'll go into the G440 club in the Ping Golf Company. But for the standard offering, GLE3, we have a ladies club, and I believe it's a 11.5 or a 12. I'm so sorry, Ping Golf Company, I can't remember, but I believe there's 2 lofts. It's a little more lofted, because usually with the lower swing speeds, trajectory is getting you. You just can't get the launch high enough to take advantage of carry. So the drivers will be more lofted, lighter weight head, lighter weight shaft, lighter weight grip, and that would be appropriate for that golfer, the golfer. So a guy that is an older guy that might want a club that's more lofted than the G440's highest loft, that's an option. And let me tell you what, there is no shame in that, because if you are shooting lower scores, that is the whole idea. And I remember when I was a kid growing up, there was a golfer that would play at the golf course that I learned to play golf at, and he proudly played women's clubs. I think they were Patty Berg clubs back then, made by Wilson, and he would brag to everybody, "I'll get ladies clubs," and then he'd go out and kick everybody's butt and take their money. So no shame in that. I mean, more power to you. You just play the club that fits you right, and that's going to help you hit the ball the best that you can. But that's kind of it, what you need to know to select the appropriate driver. If you want more help, you want to talk about it, my name is Kevin Kashiwai. I'm the head golf professional here at Kaneohe Klipper Golf Course. I love talking about this stuff and I love helping people. So if you want to talk about it, please give me a call, 808-254-2107 or 808-254-1745. My extension is 224. Just go ahead and call me. I'm not always sitting at my desk. If I don't answer, don't take it the wrong way. Leave me a message and I will call you back and we can discuss this further. If you want to set up an appointment to come out, get fitted, we can do that. And we also have 3 excellent teachers on staff here. We've got Leland Lindsay, the coach. We've got Mo Radke, retired Master Chief in the Navy. And we've got John Radke, his son, who is a Renaissance man, great golfer, great surfer, great photographer, great jiu-jitsu practitioner, great father, great husband, Renaissance man. But we've got 3 great golf professionals out here and they're all different. So someone for everyone. They'd be happy to help you too. So yeah, that's it. Give us a call, come out and see us. Until then, we'll see you at the Clipper.